definitely much smaller, or if nothing else, just a lot more spread out than it had been before.
Molly, I don't know from your vantage point if you can really see this or not, but when you're looking south there, which is the direction the camera is pointing, do you see any police officers that are further down on the street? Or what's kind of the parameters as far as you know?
I don't, Steve. Yeah, I don't see any police officers to the south, Steve. I mean, you can see, I don't know if you can tell off in the distance, there are some car lights, but I think those are just people's private vehicles, you know, whether that's people who are leaving here or people who were coming into Bellevue not knowing everything that was going on. But yeah, in that direction, I don't see any police. So they'll be able to effectively push people that direction, and they won't be being boxed in. It'll just be moving in that direction with no specific endpoint that I can recognize here.
And let's, if we can,
some of the police vehicles. Okay, they're yelling to move. Okay, so now you can see they're chanting "move back, and the crowd is moving with them. So now we're just doing a slow march down Bellevue Way.
All right, we'll watch this unfold. I see two people right there in the foreground, and it looked like about maybe 20 people or so in the background, perhaps more.
Yeah, definitely more, Michelle, but everybody is so spread out, it is a little harder to have a good handle on how many people are still here, just because there's so much more space now among everybody. But yeah, so there's been no other specific order other than earlier being told to disperse and now just being told move back, move back, move back. And so police have moved everybody back, and now it looks like they're, well, on one side of the street anyway, they stopped moving forward. Now the full line is going again.
And it seems like...
And you can hear the police are once again saying, move back.
And it seems like the row of officers behind that initial row that you're seeing right in front of you there, Molly, is pretty deep as well.
Yeah, it is, Steve. I mean, it's... trying to give a quick kind of count. I don't know. I mean, it's dozens of officers. Now, before we started moving, there were a number of police vehicles back there as well. I thought that they would actually move forward with this line of officers, and I don't think the vehicles themselves are, but certainly the police are. And yeah, in addition to the front line, which are all officers who have on their gas masks and they're just holding their batons in their hands, there are bicycle officers behind them as well. And then more officers who are also on foot.
I see one of the protesters.
So now we've moved down, and
I see one of the protesters has put a construction cone there in the middle of the street.
Yeah, Michelle. So, I mean, there are a few cones out here. There's been I think there's just some general work that's been going on, and there are cones in the street. An officer had just come through and tossed a couple of the cones out of the way. So a protester grabbed one of them and set it back up, and now you can see that cone's been moved again. And the move back chant has started again, and everybody's being pushed again farther down the street. So this is kind of condensing the crowd. You know, I said that the protesters were all spread out. As the police come down, it feels like the number of protesters around us feels a little bit thicker, but again, such a smaller number than it was before. And I don't see any of the people who had been primarily leading the peaceful protest earlier.
Well, what's interesting about that is we did hear that one fellow who said that he was, you know, the guy that was in charge, and reminded everybody we did a good thing and encouraged them to leave. So a number of them have left, and it looks like at least what's happening is here, the protesters that remain continue to walk backwards to follow the police's orders to head south. The question is, how far south? Where are they going? How long will police do this dance with the protesters?
Yeah, that's the big question for sure, Michelle. I mean, I do see some people getting into cars in some of the parking lots that are kind of near us and maybe starting to inch away. But I think there's just, you know, there's obviously so much tension out here as well. We do have somebody who keeps setting the construction cones out again. So you've got people who kind of just want to mess with the police a little bit right now. Others who are still saying no justice, no peace, and some of the other chants that we regularly hear at the protests. I feel like there's just that real mix of motivations out here right now.
All right, Molly, thank you very much for that. We're going to break away from you for the moment. We'll come back to you if anything else happens there. Thanks for keeping us posted. We are back now live over Tukwila. Very active scene. You see police movement right now. Police vehicles after an incident that began around 8:30 this evening. This is the South Center Mall where looting has been taking place in a number of stores. We do have a witness on the phone with us right now. Her name is Tawny Johnson. And Tawny, if you can, tell us, be our eyes and ears. What did you see and hear?
All right, looks like we lost Tawny. We were hoping to speak with her about what she was seeing with the looting that was taking place there around the South Center Mall area. We do want to point out, earlier we got some reports of some smoke that was seen in that area. We've learned from police that that was actually some gas that was deployed. It was not a fire. You can see from this tweet that was posted by Tukwila Police a short time ago that the curfew for the city of Tukwila is now in effect. It took effect at 9 o'clock tonight. They described it as still a very active scene that's around the South Center Mall area with several stores being looted, trying to get that situation under control. Looks like gas has been deployed in several locations in the South Center district. Several items have apparently been thrown at officers, and several people have been taken into custody at the Best Buy store there at the South Center Mall area. But you can see from that picture just several police officers with their lights on, part of the response that has been sent to try to get that situation under control.
All right, we are hearing some reports of possible arrest back in Seattle. We want to jump back to, we want to jump back to Molly Shem for some activity that's happening right now in Bellevue. Just a moment ago, we left you. Molly?
Yep, we've got flashbangs that are going off here now, Michelle, in addition to smoke canisters that have come back out. I don't think any tear gas has been deployed this time, but you can see now the bicycle officers are pushing down the street. It had been just sort of a tense standoff for, a number of minutes, and then all it takes is somebody hurled something towards police again, and as soon as that happens, they threw out the flashbangs and threw out the smoke. Some people kicked the smoke back towards the smoke canisters back towards officers, so that brought out a few more flashbangs and more smoke, and now you can hear the flashbangs going off there, and you can see that the bicycle officers are pushing forward again, and they're throwing actually even beyond where we're standing now, farther to the south. I've seen more smoke canisters go down, so they're making a more aggressive push now. So now that last bang I heard, I actually saw fireworks go up as well, so it seems like people here have also brought some fireworks. We're getting into an area now where the protests had not been before, so you can see traffic here as well, and they are trying to book these cars out of here. Some cars are taking off pretty quickly, which is dangerous as well with so many people out here on the street, but obviously they need to get the cars out. There are a number of construction cones here. I see people throwing cones down the street. Here we've got more officers who are coming down to join up with the bicycle officers as well. So it's a big push down Bellevue Way now, heading people south.
Yeah, it certainly is a big push. We see the reinforcements here. These officers armed with batons, they have their masks on. The other officers in the front of the line are on their bicycles. And actually, from the last time we spoke with you, Molly, which was just a few minutes ago, a big significant change, frankly. I mean, I'm having trouble seeing some of the protesters. It looks like a lot of them have left, unless they're just farther down the street and I can't see them.
Yeah, honestly, where I am now, Michelle, it is. They've gone all the way down to Main Street in Bellevue, so we're a number of blocks from the mall now. And the police have actually not pushed me away from where we were. They've actually let us kind of hold in our position, so we're sort of where the police were now. And yeah, I'm kind of in between two sets of police officers, some of the ones on foot and some on bike. And yeah, I think that they've successfully gotten the protesters out of this part of the area. How far down they've gone, though, I can't tell.
All right, Molly Shen reporting live for us in Bellevue tonight. A very active, fluid situation. Police have said in their own words that they've been very patient all day, and now they are asking people to leave and efforting that. We want to get right now to Matt Markovich, who is live in Westlake. Matt, what are you hearing? We're getting reports of possible arrest.
Yeah, big developments here. The incident commander who I talked to, you saw earlier, came over and talked to the leaders. I just talked to the leaders, find out what's going to happen. The incident commander says they're going to give 2 warnings.